Hello everyone, this is the Crimson Cure, welcoming you to the Crimson Tower, a place where we keep a feminine foot on the neck of the gynocracy, feminism, and black male misandry. So go ahead, pull up a chair, stay a while, and listen. Hey, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel. We're going to go ahead and get right on into the topic, but first, a word from our sponsor.
This is A-Game, fast-acting, long-lasting, with no side effects.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me. This is the Crimson Cure, and I'm coming here today to talk to you about a very serious topic, modern-day demon possession. Now, I know that sounds a little bit sensational, and you might be wondering, what am I referring to? First, I want to be clear about what I'm not referring to. I'm not referring to the movie's definition or portrayal of demon possession. Not like you see in the movies, not like The Exorcist or any of the other more popular movies that depict some form of demon possession and then somebody's got to come. This is something a little bit more subtle, but no less devastating than what we think of as demon possession. What I'm talking about is the passing on of negative energy from one person to another. And in this particular case, I'm focusing this on the passage between mothers and their children. Mothers have an influence over children that no one else in the world has over their children, regardless of whether or not the mothers are good mothers, bad mothers, neglectful mothers, or abusive mothers, or maybe even indifferent mothers. The relationships between a mother and her child affect the child regardless of whether or not the mother wanted to affect the child. But in this particular case, I'm going to go a couple of steps further and talk about the intentional disruption or the intentional destruction from a mother to her child. And what made me come up with this, because I think this might be something that gives you a little bit better framework for why I'm saying what I'm saying. I think about my own situation. And I've told you guys before on live streams and other videos that I was told at about 7 years old that I was basically a valueless, worthless human being, that I had no inherent or internal value and that no one would ever see me as such throughout my entire life. And at 42, I still have some issues with that. And as I thought about that issue, as I moved through the healing process for that issue, it occurred to me that this was a form of demon possession, because it's no less of a demon in my eyes to have a child that doesn't know any better, and that doesn't know any better, and they on board what is told to them, regardless of how destructive it is, regardless of how wrong it is. And I accepted that as the truth, even though it nearly destroyed me. I accepted it as a truth because of who it came from. And because it was said with such certainty, and in my eyes, there was no counterbalance to that. There was no one that said, hey, that's not true. I actually internalized it. And when I internalized it, that demon was difficult to exercise because it sounded like me. It behaved like me. It saw the world as I did. And it was, as far as I was concerned, it was a part of my identity. Until, even despite the fact of being grown and knowing that that sentiment was destructive, that having that sort of outlook on yourself was destructive, I still was unable until recently to truly dig at the root of that dysfunction and attempt to really truly rid myself of it once and for all. And so it is done in order to wreck a person's personal market value. That's really what it does. And I can't help but to understand that it was done purposely. And the process of planting such seeds in your children is nothing short of something evil. And it is a form of demon possession, the passing of a demon from one vessel to another. Okay? Because she had some portion of that demon in order to give it to me. So she had to have that in possession of herself in order to even pass it on. And so she did pass it on. And not only my personal experience, but I've watched other people have these same types of issues where when they were children, their mother passed them on quite intentionally, very specifically, making a point to sit their children down or grab their attention specifically to give them a destructive seed so that they will self-destruct later on. And it festers, and it is like an infection, like a wound, like an untended wound. And that child may or may not ever recover from the effect of their mothers having given them that. Because one thing it says in Islam is that a mother's dua or her prayer for her children are answered. Okay, so what the mother, the energy that she brings to her children, the energy that she gives to her children, the ideas, even the things that are passed on non-verbally, these things are of great effect to her children throughout their lives, potentially. So that is what I mean by the modern day demon possession. We have a lot of demons, a lot of them, and they are not unaware of the nature of themselves nor what they do, quite purposely birthing children into the world in order to sacrifice them. And when I say sacrifice them, I don't mean, again, the theatrical portrayal where you get an altar and you do a seance. And I don't mean that. I mean sacrifice them emotionally, sacrifice them spiritually, sacrifice them to this world, to sacrifice them to the energies that guide these demons, to just sacrifice their children to them by making them unprepared and by planting these seeds within them so that the children will manifest all of this dysfunction that eventually has the potential to destroy them and their families, whatever legacy they attempt to create. And so we are, and since this is an esoteric red pill episode, I'm going to go there. We are at spiritual warfare. Now, I know there are some who don't subscribe to that, don't believe that, think that that's hocus pocus. You can think so, but there's something happening on a non-physical level. And it is malevolent. It is evil. It's nothing short of evil to have children and beat them, abuse them, kill them, abandon them. The video, I did a live stream probably about a month and a half ago, where the woman was arguing with her son and putting him out the house, and the things that she was saying to him and that he was saying back to her because he had learned it from her. This is an evil act. This is an evil act, to use the children as pawns and not be concerned about how emotionally you're destroying them. This is evil. This isn't just bad behavior. This isn't just, unjust behavior. This is evil behavior. This is spurred by something. This entire system that operates so well yet produces so much dysfunction is a shaitani system. This is a system designed by shaitan. And it's really that simple. Whether you want to call him shaitan, you want to say Satan, the devil, evil energy, whatever you want to say, or however you want to identify that, that's what it is. You can't tell me that this system, so intricately placed together, the system of the gynocracy, the system of how we live in this world now, so intricately put together, where all of these things are thought out and planned out with such accuracy over generational spans, but yet be in such order as to work the way that it does and with the success rate that it does, but yet produce so much dysfunction as to be exponential and astronomical. This is shaitan. This is why I take this work so seriously, because this isn't for me just getting on YouTube saying whatever. I've understood that this is work done on a spiritual level also, and it had better be. If you intend on seeing things for what they are, then you need to see them on every level, not just the physical plane that your eyes can see, that your five senses can detect. We need to be able to understand what's happening on a spiritual level also, because that's where the real work is taking place. That's where the real dysfunction is. The other things that we see are the symptoms of the dysfunction. The true root is in the spiritual selves. The collective spiritual self of WS, the gynocracy, all of its offshoots. So I'm hoping that I made myself clear today about what modern day possession looks like. And when we talk about possession, we really need to also talk about exorcism. To exorcise, to remove something by force. To remove the dysfunction by force. The first level of exorcism is the acceptance of the red pill, but no one can stop there. Because the red pill is simply to recognize that a possession has taken place. But that's not the true depth of the exorcism that needs to happen in order to remove all of the dysfunction. You have to understand your spiritual self. Start delving into your spiritual self. Go into your psyche, go into your mind. This is why therapy is important, because it helps open the door for you to think about things in a way that you may not have ever thought about them. So once again, hopefully I said something that resonated with everyone, or at least a few of you. Okay. What I'd like for you to do is like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Today's show has been brought to you by our sponsor, A-Game. So I'd like for you to go into the description box and click the link for A-Game Herbal at agameherbal.com. Get your 10% off of your next purchase using the code Kindred10. This has been yet another Crimson Cure production, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.